Girl's Guide to the Unknown.
Okay. Have you ever heard a sound in the night that you couldn't explain or seen something in the woods that didn't belong? Welcome to the Girl's Guide to the Unknown, where the strange becomes real through stories of paranormal happenings and cryptid sightings. We're talking ghostly whispers, unexpected lights, and encounters with creatures like the chupacabra or the Jersey Devil, straight from the people who live them.
Alongside these gripping tales, we'll dig into the legends, the lore, and the lingering questions that keep us looking over our shoulders. Ready to explore the edge of reality? Hit subscribe and step into the mystery with us. Our next story might haunt your dreams.
So I did Summit Elementary in Amarillo. It was a public school. Open for several decades in the early 1900s. It closed in the early 1970s. The reason for its closure is not well documented, but it's believed that it was closed as part of an effort to consolidate schools to address declining enrollment in Amarillo ISD. The haunting of Summit Elementary has become an almost infamous urban legend. It's captivated both locals and visitors with tales of terrifying encounters.
Fun.
It's believed that the haunting of Summit Elementary originated from an incident that happened at the school during the height of the civil rights movement. Summit was a segregated school for African American students, and there was a janitor who was allegedly a member of a well known racist organization.
Oh,
Um,
that's great. Let's put them around children, huh?
yeah, and he used to enjoy mistreating the kids.
Of course he did.
He allegedly abducted 4 boys from the school and murdered them in the boiler room.
Terrible person.
Love that. And then he took his own life by jumping from the school smokestack.
As he should. Should have just taken his life first because why hurt the kids? Why kids? Leave kids alone, first of all. But, like, don't be racist, too.
Right? Shitty people are going to be shitty people.
Yeah.
So, stories from people who have been brave enough to venture in and around the school report things like hearing the screams of the boys. They witnessed a red ball bouncing towards the boiler room. There's also reports that if you go into the boiler room itself, it's constantly dusty. Like they cannot clean it. No matter how often they clean it, it's just dusty to the point where if you draw in the dust something, it will vanish immediately and just become dusty again.
That's kind of cool. Like, that one's, like, kind of scary, but, like, that's a cool one to have. Like, I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, I mean that would be cool to see in real life.
And that's living in West Texas with all these damn dust storms we get.
Yeah. And then visitors have also reported hearing a mop sloshing around even when there's no one in the school, which good. Be forced to mop a school for all of eternity as your punishment.
You should be forced to work the rest of your eternity. I almost said life, but not that.
Your afterlife.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There are also reports. Sorry. There are also reports of people hearing children's laughter and screams coming from the school. People have claimed to see a little boy appear in the front seat of cars that are parked there that no one else are in. And there is a swing set on the playground with a swing that moves on its own even on windless days. It says that you can stop the swing, but if you turn around, it will immediately start swinging again.
That's disgusting. I feel like any haunted schoolyard always has that swing.
Right? I guess because, I mean, if you're a
Children
ghost
like
kid,
swings.
what are you going to do but swing?
Yeah. I mean, children like swings anyway. I loved swings when I was a kid. But,
I still like swings.
It's true. It's true. I want a front porch swing, so I same.
And then one of the probably creepiest stories is that on the anniversary of the janitor's death every year, his ghost can be seen leaping from the smokestack. Which good. Kill yourself for all of eternity because you're a freaking monster, and I can't think of anything else that you deserve. That's really it. The building that housed Summit Elementary is still there, but it's owned and used by a local church that purchased the building after it was empty for almost 45 years. So nobody would touch it. And then this church came in and they were like, "We got you."
Okay, but like churches at night are kind of creepy. My family had one that we converted into a hunter's lodge. It's fucking creepy at night. Like
Yeah.
lights, they would turn all the lights off, and if you're one of those hunters, you're braver than me because I would not sleep in there.
And I don't know what they're doing with it. I couldn't find a lot of information. It's just that the church owns it and they are using it. And there has been some issues with trespassers, which I can get because it's a pretty popular haunted destination. I'm not encouraging trespassing. I feel like I should say that. Um, but
Don't be dumb. If you're gonna do anything, at least go sit on the playground and watch the
yeah,
swing. Be respectful. We're respectful here, okay?
yes.
Unless you're a shitty ghost like this one.
And then we have zero respect for you.
So this one is Vernon North State Hospital or North State Hospital. I can't tell. I don't know. I know at some point the name was changed, but I don't know what it was changed to. I find different things, different articles calling it the state hospital and then Vernon State Hospital. So I'm just gonna call it the state hospital for this.
Fair enough.
But the state hospital was built in 1920s near Wichita Falls, Texas. Um, yeah, you remember when I said I made the dogs come sit in the bathroom with me? Yeah, this is this story.
Okay.
So be ready.
Great.
Near Wichita Falls. This town has about 10,000 people, so it's small, nowhere near as small as my hometown, but still small for people.
Yeah, 10,000 is a small town
Yeah.
for sure.
It has 262 adult beds and 32 adolescent beds. It serves adults with criminal issues. So actually, I went to school in Vernon. I think fourth, maybe fifth grade. I don't know. I was young. We had a rumor that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was in this building.
Oh.
Yeah. I couldn't find any information on it, so as far as I know, it was just a rumor. Kids trying to scare kids. But it does have the reputation of holding some of the most violent offenders deemed insane or incompetent. So, Building M, it has a legend that there was this nurse who just refused to take PTO. She has been seen gliding silently down the hallways, clipboards in hand, like judging everyone for skipping hand sanitizer. Um, so nurses on the late shift have reported doors swinging like they're in a horror movie, that the doors just swing open. Sudden cold spots, and they're like, it's not like the hospital AC is broken, like there's something near you. Like they say they can just tell the difference.
Yeah.
Which luckily I've never had a cold spot, but
Nope, I haven't either.
I don't think
But I've
so.
like
Anyway,
seen how people react. I mean,
yeah, I always get cold, so I mean, who knows? I could have. I'm just very anemic, so if you can't tell from my pastiness, I blend up with the shirt almost. So
I thought it was just because you didn't go outside.
That too. um, but yeah, so she's just kind of looking over your shoulder. Every now and then she'll just pat your shoulder and walk by, which I would die.
Is that like a good job
pat?
Like
Yes, they just said it just, some say it's comforting and then others say it's terrifying. Be terrifying.
Terrifying.
I'd run out, never be seen again. I'd quit on the spot.
For sure.
And then there's a little girl in the bathroom, pale dress, long dark hair. She's always looking down. Of course, she's looking down. They're always looking down. And not moving, not saying a word. She doesn't speak. She just exists and stares at you. And then she just disappears. Some say she's the former ghost of a patient. I said that weird. Some say she's the ghost of a former patient. Others say she's just a wandering spirit. And she just decided to haunt the nearest restroom.
What's a haunted hospital without a child?
Yeah.
Child ghosts.
Why can't you just leave the bathrooms alone? One brave soul said she looked at them. Just once, her eyes were completely black, like demon doing eyeliner black. They haven't used that restroom since, which I don't blame you. I'd just
Right?
never go to the
No,
bathroom ever again. I'd hold it for 8 hours.
absolutely. You're like, I can go when I go home.
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
So if you're ever at the North State Hospital and need to go to the bathroom, maybe just don't,
Don't.
or take an extra roll because good luck. That's all I got to tell you. And then we have the chain rattler. So this is one story that literally echoes through the halls of the hospital for decades. It's not a face in the mirror, not a shadow in a doorway. This, you hear, you see something, you feel something. And some say you can never forget the sounds. So the administration building was built in 1920s, peeling paint, faded brick, long empty hallways. One security guard said that he was just doing his rounds and he looked, and there was a figure standing in the doorway of an old patient room. He was holding something long and metallic, and it was rattling. He turned to call for backup. When he turned around, just gone. Just poof, gone. Some say that it is a patient that was held in one of the back hallways and he was forgotten. He was chained down with actual chains. It was the 20s.
Yeah.
So leather straps, shackles, iron chains, all that. And then some believe that it's the pipes, which I feel like you know what it is. You're just not wanting to believe it because if I worked there, I wouldn't want to believe it either.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be like, it's just the pipes.
Yeah. Nope. Yeah, so we actually have a few encounters. This is all I can find. They're very short. So this one was from a longtime nurse who worked their graveyard shift for nearly 10 years. At first, I thought it was just old pipes. Then I heard it move. Not once, not twice, but every week. Always in the same hallway, always just after 3 a.m. Of course, it's 3 a.m. Others backed up her story from different shifts, different years, same hallway, the sound never came from behind you, always just ahead, always just out of reach.
Well, you could not pay me enough money to work graveyard shift in a haunted hospital.
Nope. What makes the chain rattler so chilling is the silence that follows. Witnesses describe a sense of being watched, the air turning cold, and sometimes hearing footsteps, not walking, pacing. It's just pacing back and forth. I'd die. Just die on spot. Um, Not the big stories we remember, it's the forgotten ones, the quiet suffering, the chained ones, the ones that were ignored and just faded from history. But apparently, from this place, he did not fade. Which, I mean, if you chained me up, I kind of feel for him because if you chained me up and forgotten, I'm never leaving. I'm haunting
Yeah,
your ass for the rest of your life.
absolutely.
Like, I get it, but also he's terrifying. um,
Yeah.
so this one comes from a former janitor. Um, they always say, do not give him any. If you see him, no, you didn't. Whatever you do, do not panic and don't ever say who is there because he will answer and you will regret it. He loves an audience.
Oh.
Yeah. One guard made this mistake. Some people hear the rattler and ignore him, pretend it's plumbing issues. A former janitor said he did just that. I asked out loud, just being a smartass, hey, who's there? The dragging stopped, but the lights went out for 3 seconds. Just three, then back on. And I swear to God, I heard breathing behind me. The janitor quit 3 weeks later.
Yeah, I would have quit the same day.
Yeah, no, I would have ran out. No, done.
Him. But also, like, when you're chained and forgotten, I can understand wanting a little attention.
Yeah, like, I don't know if they just left him. Obviously, they had to just leave him, but, like, is his body still in one of those hallways somewhere?
Is this still an open working hospital?
Yes. My mom and aunt used to work here
Oh, okay. Yeah,
in
no,
like 2012,
that's
somewhere around
creepy.
there. But yes, it is still functioning. Um, yeah, he is scary as shit still. So we have another one. Someone tried to capture the sound of the chains and whispering. Someone said he posted the video, and all of a sudden, like a few days later, it was just corrupt. So a few people got to see it,
Hmm.
but after that, it was corrupted everywhere. But someone said the voice said, "Did you clock out?" And then others said you couldn't hear what it was. But yeah, this not many people saw the video, but a few did, and there's just nothing. Like, it was just gone.
That's creepy.
That is creepy because, like, can it enter your phone? I don't even want to think about that. Never
Right?
mind. I'm not saying that.
No.
That's disgusting. But I think you know where I was going with that.
Yeah, I do, and that is creepy.
Yeah. So there's no photos, no EVPs, no videos, just reports and the sound of chains dragging. Like, no one left, which I don't blame him. I would, that, I don't blame him, but I'm scared for y'all.
Yeah, it's definitely sounds like he's not a friendly guy,
Yeah, no.
and I don't blame him either. You know?
Yeah. So this one really captured my attention. I tried to find all the information on it, but I couldn't. On the chain rattler, there wasn't much. This was all I found, but there's a lot more hauntings. There's a place called the Voodoo Room, which a Reddit user said her mirror just like exploded in front of her. Yeah. Um,
Wow.
yeah. Someone, this one also scares the shit out of me, was ripped from their bed so violently that the nurses came running in because they were screaming, and they never believed them. They just thought it was the medication and they were hallucinating. Um, and then they moved them to another room, and it happened in that room too, which I'd probably have a heart attack. Right? If something ripped me out of bed, heart attack, dead on the spot. You're not getting that story. I'm dead.
At the very least, I would like to request a transfer to a different hospital, please.
Yeah. No, I'm dead on the spot. That's it. But we may do a deeper dive into it because there's a lot of hauntings in that place,
Yeah,
which 1920s, of course. People were horrible back then.
they really were.
Okay. So, this is from listener J. Um, it's 3 a.m. in mid November, deep in a 400-acre holler in northern Oklahoma. We were just sitting around the fire, just my cousin and me, listening to the radio, but keeping it low because everyone had went to bed. And he said they were camping, they were deer hunting, so they have cabins. It's not like a regular tent, so they were camping at like
Hmm.
a campy area, a cabin area.
Gotcha.
But he said they heard this loud whistle. And so he said, I'm Native American, and we were always warned about the unmentionables, which, if you know, you know, because whistling at 3 a.m., you're not supposed to whistle at night, first of all. Don't whistle at night. Don't whistle at night. Even if you're at your house, it's going to come to you. Don't do it. And then there was a loud pop behind me. And so I looked at my cousin and I said, Did you hear that? He said, Yeah. And then a pop came from behind him in the woods. And it goes back and forth for about 30 minutes. Well, we think it was tree knocking. A few minutes later, we see a figure on the ridge, and they're like in a bowl area, so they see like this giant figure just kind of walking on
Oh,
top.
oh no.
Um, he said, I'm an avid hunter. I know what the wildlife looked like. It was not anything that I had ever seen before. And he said it got eerily quiet. You couldn't even hear the wind blowing through the trees. And Then the figure just disappeared. A little while later, we heard thunk, and I asked my cousin if he heard it, and he said yes. Well, a few seconds later, we hear another thunk. I turn on my flashlight, and we hear another thunk. A rock weighing about 10 to 15 pounds landed near us. It was a size that a human would not be able to throw effortlessly. um, they would make some kind of noise. There would be a grunt, or you would know it was a human throwing it. Like, there was no sound, just the thunk. So I say, you can stay out here, but I'm going to the cabin and locking the door behind me. My cousin said, I'm right behind you. We didn't hear or see anything the rest of the night, but we think it was a Bigfoot at least, maybe two, maybe more. But they definitely are convinced it was a Bigfoot, which sounds very convincing.
Yeah. And to that, I say, let's go. Because Bigfoot is one that I would encounter.
Yeah, that one's kind of cool, but like, could you imagine just seeing a giant ass rock just being thrown at you?
It would be terrifying.
Like,
Just,
and it's so dark that you can't even really see it. You just hear it. Like, that's scary.
I feel like our last few videos have made me decide that I will no longer be camping for any reason whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't camp anyways. I did it once for my dad's birthday, and that was it. That's all you get from me. Was not a fan.
No,
But
not for me.
I think I would encounter Bigfoot if I could. He kind of seems cool, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't want him close. I would just like to be in the distance and see
chunking
him.
rocks at people. He may not be as cool as I thought. I always thought he would be cool and maybe like chill.
Yeah.
But maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe he's more like an old man, like get off my lawn.
Yeah. So he said they hunt this every year. Like, they hunt this area every year. Mm-hmm. And I asked him, and he said this was the first encounter, which I think he said was 6 years ago. And he said he doesn't really know what brought him to the area. Maybe just wildlife. They just showed up.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's definitely cool.
But he says he has a lot of other stories for us.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you.
He would love to send them in, which I say, send them in. Come on, what are you waiting for?
Send them all in.
But if you have stories, we have our email. It will be linked down here in the description box, or you can go to our profile. It'll be there, or you can DM us on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook. We want anything. Doesn't matter. 2 minutes. We want it.
We want it.
We like the spooky.
We do. And I am having a great time hearing everyone's stories and learning all of these things that I didn't know before, because a lot of this stuff I didn't know before.
Yeah, there's some things I heard. I'm not supposed to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. You have 7 years to forget about these things. They are called little people, and they target children.
Oh.
One guy that I found said he had his door locked, front door locked, gate locked, everything was locked. His 3-year-old daughter was outside of their fence.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Like, they make themselves look like children?
I'm not sure. I know they target children. But yeah, you have 7 years to forget about them. And if not, I don't know what happens, but I don't want to find out either.
Yeah, no thank you. So, see, and I didn't know as much stuff about the paranormal and cryptids and stuff as you did to start with. And so finding out that there's still stuff you didn't know about is pretty crazy.
Yeah, there's one that the anonymous sent or was telling me about. He wouldn't tell me what it was because apparently, like, even thinking about it, you're done. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what that is, and I don't want to know what that is because it's going to sit in the back of my mind, and I'm done. That's it.
Yep. No, I'm good on that. I don't need to know. Anyway, so thanks for watching.
Thanks for cryptid hunting with us, and we'll catch you next time. Okay, bye.